Hi, I'm Epokk from Minigame Guides, and in this video, let's just check out Hell's Architect, the Prologue. Now, in this video, I just kind of want to showcase what the game is all about. It's pretty much like Oxygen Not Included if you have played that before. I'm going to reference that a few times during the video, but I'm really curious how this one plays. If you're interested, you can just check the link in the description down below, and you can go ahead and wishlist the game if you want to kind of stay on top of all the upcoming news around the game. But let's get started. Now I've actually already went through the tutorial, so I already kind of know a little bit how it works, and it's pretty much a lot like Oxygen Not Included if you have played that game. So you do still need to build beds, for example. You still need to provide food and water, of course, and stuff like that. And kind of instead of the basic work that they can do, like powering up stuff, is basically all done by suffering. So suffering is actually the in-game currency, in addition to dirt, coal, and metal, which are kind of the building ingredients for most builds. So we actually have Frank over here, and he basically helps you out with a lot of things. So sinners keep on coming. We need to keep building. Suffering must flow. There are rumors that you'll have a chance to prove yourself with a big new project, but let's start you off with something a little less ambitious. That sounds good. So we're gonna gather the resources and build an Iron Maiden. Either way, let's just get started. So we're gonna, by clicking on X, we can just select a pattern, select this grid, and then our little fellows over here there can start doing what we need them to do, which is fantastic. Now you see, actually you get a new sinner each 9 minutes. So as with Oxygen Not Included, you can actually kind of decide when you're gonna get new new inhabitants, let's call them there. So but no, here you actually will always get a next sinner in the next 10 minutes. If you cannot keep up with the requirements, then you can get overflows, you can get problems and stuff like that. So it's pretty important to keep that stuff in mind, but it's not that hard of a game in my opinion. So we can just build ladders just like in the other game that I mentioned already tons of times. We're gonna be building also a floor, and then we can start digging out this also, so that way we can get some more room to work with. The game is quite graphical because the moment you, for example, just select your Iron Maiden after constructing it, just press this. Well, after clicking on it, you can just press on this plus icon, and whenever a sinner is free, he's gonna jump in there. For example, we can just drag this one right in there. And here we go. He's going to produce suffering, so +8. Now, what we can also are going to need is some food. Now, food is created with flesh farms and cauldrons and the trog. So flesh farm is, well, the farm. The cauldron is what you cook it with, and the trog is basically how you feed it to them. We have also the drinking, which is kind of more... Ugh. So we have the latrine, so where they have to go to the toilet, and that gets turned into water squeezer, which is basically makes it kind of drinkable water into the metal buckets. This is really this dark humor that you kind of need to really like before it's, if this kind of dark humor isn't for you, this game is probably not for you. So over here now, next we are gonna have to build Beelzebub's statue. So what of course we're going to be needing to do is we're going to be needing to dig down, and we're also going to be needing a few more resources. Now they can only climb one tile each time, so if you want to have them dig a lot of stuff over here, then you're better off just not just giving this little staircase over here. Now, this guy, he's gonna drop down, but that's not that bad because we're gonna make a ladder in a second. Okay, so we got him out through this little ladder, which is cool. So now let's have them dig for a little bit more resources, and then we can start building the bare necessities. Okay, see, we got our next sinner coming in a minute. So while our other guy is generating suffering, we can start building our flesh farm. So let's just do that a little bit. So first off, our flesh farm, then we're gonna build a cauldron, which is gonna be this kind of production thing. So that one is stuck on an island, so let's just give him a little bit of a floor to work with. So we actually need to actually have one sinner constantly working here to produce food using the flesh farm. And of course, we're gonna also need them to eat, so we're gonna make a trog. So obviously we have no resources because our flesh farm is still generating. So about 5 pieces of food each cycle. So yeah, we can build a few of these, and then we will have enough food for a while. Let's just place another one over there, and we are good. Next up, let's try to build some more platforms. And then we can start using the latrines. We actually already got our 5th sinner. Now, actually, if we click on them, we actually basically here see all the necessities. So we have hunger, we have thirst, fatigue, and the bladder. So it's kind of weird that we really need to pay attention to these things. Now, we do have some bonuses if you, for example, get blood. So you're going to get more suffering from this guy if you use things that will torture him and it contains blood. So, for example, we can use the Iron Maiden. Maybe we can use this guy for the Iron Maiden. So we're just going to be dragging him over here. And normally we should generate a little bit more extra suffering by doing that. In the meantime, we're going to also be building our water base, kind of. So we have the latrines. Then we're going to have our drinking, our water squeezer, and of course our water bucket. And of course, we should also not forget to build their beds. Now you can actually build a regular bed, allow sinners to have nightmares in quite decent conditions. Maybe we can go for the beds. We only have 3 beds, but we can maybe expand this floor a little bit in a second. Let's just see how this works for right now. Okay, so I didn't realize that this actually consumes the suffering. So yeah, how about we just cancel that? No bets. No, this is hell after all. So let's just use the cardboard boxes because I just want to build the statue. I'm gonna click on this. We're gonna just build, and it's gonna be done in 60 seconds. Maybe let's speed it up a little bit. Okay, so there goes our first stage, and I'm gonna cover that with my hand. So I guess you're not totally useless, but don't slow down now. You get more interested in your productivity and maybe you're bored. I was just joking, Your Highness, I'm already back to work. Okay, so we already have that done. So now we're gonna need 500 suffering. So maybe we can build, we can build some more stuff. I kind of want to build all of these, so let's just try that. And let's give us some more space to work with. Okay, so we have the Bed of Kings available. So we're just gonna say that whenever we have a free sinner, they can go sit inside of it, which is pretty cool. I want to build actually pretty much all of them, so just to see what we kind of have. So we have Iron Maiden, we have the bathing oil, so just, bathing in oil, I guess. In the flames of the hellfire of suffering sizzle, so nice and pleasant. So go sit inside of a furnace, go sit inside of a freezer. Hell is not likely to freeze, but the sinners, why not? And the dentist. Okay, I kind of get that one. Dental chair invites to a delightful drilling without anesthesia. I get it. So can we drag this guy in there? Okay, that's pretty cool actually. It's cool that we have famous people over here like Nero. There are also in the trailer, for example, Hitler also has a chance to appear in the game. And it's just like one of those fun little things if you really want to, kind of torture one of those characters. I kind of would have preferred a little bit more funny people, to be honest. But yeah, it's great to have. So let's just get started with building some more torture rooms. Okay, so I actually had one guy that actually kind of died from the hunger, to say so. And your sinners lost actually. So if you cannot keep up with the infrastructure, because I kind of was just lacking sinners, to be honest, then he actually dies. So we can just go to population and then we can buy him back. So Gregory his state. So he lost his mind in hell. Okay, so his sin was actually lust. Great. So we can actually just buy him back for 100 suffering. And actually, it's that easy. So suffering is really important. So I actually realized that you can actually just remove a sinner just by pressing this button. But after that, the first sinner that will do that job, actually, you will just keep doing the job for the rest of eternity until you press once again on that button, and then the next free sinner will take over. So you can actually really need to dedicate specific sinners to specific jobs. And I think that's really going to slow down the game at the start of the playthrough, because you only have so many sinners. Over time, you can just kind of build further upon the infrastructure and just upgrade machines and stuff like that. But I think at the start, that's really going to slow down the game quite a bit. So yeah, I hope they kind of bring alternatives to that, or we really need to go look for ways around that. But yeah, it's not too bad, but it's kind of really going to slow down your playthrough at the start. Okay, so actually you now have all the 5 available suffering machines going on. So we have the Iron Maiden, we have the boiling oil, so the king is going to bat of kings. We have the furnace, seems pretty bad. We have this one, the freezer, and this is probably the worst one, the dentist. That is some innovating hell. They're really thinking out of the box down under. Okay, so let's just build our second part of the statue and see what it gets us. Okay, so we got our next step part of the statue done, and we have an earthquake. Cool. Who screwed up? I didn't. Something went kablooey, Mr. Azazel. A massive explosion of concentrated suffering has weakened the 7th circle. Lucifer himself has ordered us to rebuild the damage done by that random explosion. Collect as many suffering as you can. We will repair what we have lost. Forgive our master, but what about the monument to Beelzebub? So we pretty much have to do the same. Okay, so now our rehire bonus objective is just getting a lot of suffering. That's not going to be a problem. And for the statue, we need 900. Honestly, I'm not too worried about it. It's more the infrastructure that kind of worries me at this point. But yeah, once we get a lot more sinners, we should get more doable. I really like this long stick. I don't know why, but I just really like seeing them do that. Just something weird, but cool. Okay, so we got our 300 suffering. Now it's back to the moment. Okay, so it is pretty much always a side object. It doesn't give us anything, so that's kind of unfortunate. They don't take our suffering either, so at least we got that going for us. Okay, so our little guy with the stick is done, so let's just expand this a little bit so we can get ourselves a little bit more infrastructure going. I kind of find it weird how pretty much all of this is linked. So there at no point, if they, for example, use the farm has been filled, there's no person that's gonna, kind of transport it to the cauldron or to the trog. So kind of weird that is not a thing. Now that's pretty much makes it a lot easier. So you can pretty much, I need latrines. Okay, I place them over here. I place them over here. You don't really need to care about that too much. There is not that much depth at this point in the game in that regard. But, there are probably going to be some ways to optimize it a little bit better. But, yes, the lack of having to transport or clean stuff up like in Oxygen Not Included, it's going to make the game a lot more accessible to some players that find Oxygen Not Included to be a little bit too much hassle, maybe. Kind of depends where you are in that regard. There are also some pretty cool decorations in game. So we have the skull pillar, but we also, for example, can get some skull pile, a shelf, a torch, chandelier. So the chandelier is probably going to be this. So these guys, the skull pillars, of course, the shelf, the torch, and I don't know if you have any skull piles. I don't think so. Yeah, it's pretty cool art style. I really like the art style. Pretty much going to be one of the highlights of the game, that combined, of course, with the dark humor, of course. You know, there are some, the map doesn't look that big, but there are a few things hidden away. For example, we have over here structure blocker, but okay, so that actually has no value to us. It's just something we need to build around. I actually also found this, so the Fat Man too. And that's kind of a reference to something. We have a Bibles that probably nobody's gonna want to touch because we're in hell. Kind of wish these were like these secrets that could actually help you with something, but they're just there to, you know, be in the way. It's kind of unfortunate, to be honest. Okay, so we got our 1000 suffering. We probably only needed 900, so let's build that. And, you know, let's just see what comes next. Okay, so we finally finished the monument to Beelzebub. Thank you, you had my help. So, Frank, well, this was your doing. Is this what you're supposed to be doing? That's exactly what I'm saying, Your Unholy Highness. Modest as I am, I can't deny I was a mastermind behind this entire operation. Sure, Frank. Well done. And that's it. So let's see. We have 7 campaigns in Advanced Sandbox, Devil's Mechanic, whatever that may be. We have 7 maps, 10 new legends. So of course with Hitler included. We can have a max 50 sinners per game. So that is, I don't know, kind of seems that's not enough, to be honest. Because I only had 10 sinners and actually I felt like, you know, should have a lot more on this kind of map. A research system, so that's going to be cool because I didn't have access to that right now. Advanced resources, limbo mechanic, crystal system, whatever that may be. And of course a lot more buildings. I actually think this game is going to be pretty cool when you have the full version, though I do think the prologue was a little bit light, but it was kind of a great showcase of just what it's all about. I hope the campaigns are going to be worth it. I really like the humor, but I understand it's not for everyone. I hope there is going to be a little bit more complexity in the full game, because at this type, yeah, right now it felt a little bit like Oxygen Not Included for beginners. But yeah, that's it for me, and let me know if you're gonna go get this game. I want to thank you for watching. It's a new type of content. Now, Let's Plays are not typically my thing, but I kind of wanted to experience it together with you. Guys, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.